From the studios of WFAN in New York and simulcast across the country via the YES Network, this is Mike Duff, Francesor on the Fan. On this cold, windy December the 29th, our last show before the new year. We'll do the bowls today through next Monday, through Jan 4. We got a lot to do today. I promise you some Met news today. I will deliver. And Aaron Taylor will talk a little bowls with us today. We'll have bowl picks on all the bowls from this afternoon, where you have a fascinating bowl matchup. Now, most of you probably think, who cares about Temple and UCLA? I do. Because to me, it's a classic matchup, and I'll tell you why in a little while. And we got a lot of football to get to, the Jets, the Giants, and everything. And I want to start with the Giants, and I promise I'll get to the Met news in a little while. Because I just happened to turn the radio on about 9:45 this morning, and I heard Adam the Bull and Giannotti talking. When you give the kids the keys to the car, it's scary. But about how they were talking about something that I said. A caller brought up that I said the Giants had to be rebuilt. And they were saying, you don't rebuild the Giants, you rebuild the Rams. And I said, kids, listen, rebuilding is a process. You can rebuild a playoff team. A lot of the Pats who are being rebuilt in front of your eyes. It's where you rebuild from. The Giants, the Rams, as an example, who are very bad, so people think rebuild, are in the process of discovery. They are trying to discover whether they have a coach and a quarterback. That is the lowest level of NFL existence. You are in the process of discovery, whether you're trying to find out if you have the two things you have to be a winning team in the NFL. A coach who's competent and a quarterback who's at least competent. The Giants come at it from a very different place. They are a playoff team that needs to rebuild. Rebuilding is a process that in the NFL is done when you either going to have to make major moves, or you're going to have to change philosophy, or you are going to have to change coaching staff. The Giants are going to have to do all of the above. They are not the same team they were. Now, the Pats have been rebuilt in front of our eyes. The Giants need major personnel changes. They need coaching changes beneath the head coach. They have the coach and the quarterback in place, so they start with a winning franchise. The question is, can they be built from there? And they have to be rebuilt. Don't think any other way, because they have to change position coaches. They have to change at least one coordinator. They have to change the vaunted offensive line, the defensive line, the linebacking, the secondary, maybe the punter, and possibly the running backs. So that is an awful lot to take care of in one offseason. Just to use the Jets as an example, the Jets need a safety and maybe an edge pass rusher to be a terrific defense. And they could use another running back, especially one who could handle a slot assignment, which they don't do very well. So that's if they keep Braylon Edwards. That's tweaking. The Giants are undergoing rebuilding. The Giants, which run started on that Saturday night against New Orleans and ended with this terrible performance against Carolina. That run now is over. Now they have to change coaches, change a little bit of philosophy, and make a lot of changes. Last year, the Giants rushed for 200 or more yards on 7 occasions, including a 300-yard running performance against Carolina. This year, the Giants never ran for over 140 yards in the last 10 weeks of the season. So they are no longer the Giants that we knew. They no longer can beat you with the running game. And that was when most of that time the offensive line was healthy. So the offensive line as we know it, and their offensive line coach is as good a coach as there is coaching a position in the league. That guy stays, but the line has to change. Now, the Giants also were a fourth-quarter pass rush team. That was their calling card. This year, they had trouble getting to the quarterback. Yes, it's a new coordinator, but also they brought in a lot of guys that didn't do the job. Kenny didn't do the job. Bernard didn't do the job. Alford got hurt. Their linebacking needs to be rebuilt. If Phillips comes back, that's a good way to start the secondary, but the secondary needs to be rebuilt. So you are rebuilding in the NFL. That does not mean that you lost, 14 games to be rebuilding. The Pats have rebuilt completely in front of our eyes. They had their core, Belichick, Brady, Moss, and their little slot receiver Welker, and they have taken that core and they have rebuilt around it. They really have. They've changed everything. They've changed the defensive front. They've changed their offensive front. They've changed their entire back seven on defense. They've made enormous changes. The Giants now are going to go through that. That doesn't mean they're going to go fall down to 4 wins, That's not what rebuilding means in the NFL. What rebuilding means in the NFL that you have to do major work on your core, around your core, and change philosophy and change coaches. And the Giants have to do all that. So, yes, despite what you might think, it is a rebuilding job. And that doesn't mean you had to lose 14 games to be rebuilding. You do rebuild, but they rebuild from a level where they're already a playoff team. Other teams that are in dead in the water and are in that lowest of NFL existences, that's the discovery phase of the NFL. That's where the Rams are right now. That's where Tampa is right now. They don't have a coach. They don't have a quarterback. Until you have those two things, you are not there. You are not ready to go forward in the NFL until you discover the coach and the quarterback. Now, sometimes you have one and don't have the other. And then you're kind of in that limbo stage. If you have neither, you are in desperate straits, a la the Rams. The Giants have both. They have a winning coach, they have a winning quarterback. And that winning coach gets to make one more run, but he's got to change his staff. They have to tinker at least with their philosophy because they've become much more of a passing team. Their strength now is in their quarterback and their wide receivers. It's not in their running backs. It's not in their offensive line. It's not in their running game. And unfortunately now it's not as much in their pass rush. So they have to change who they are, and it's going to be a very telling and very demanding offseason for the Giants. That's number one. Number two is the Jets and Rex Ryan's comments. Rex, can't have it both ways. You can't come out yesterday afternoon and talk about how, hey, how come we're getting no credit for the win when you spent last week on your hands and knees begging the Colts to bench their players? You said your Christmas wish was that those guys didn't play. You got your Christmas wish. Then you want credit for the win after you begged them to not play the guys? You begged them. You said, you know what I want for Christmas? I want Manning to sit. I want Wayne to sit. I want Clark to sit. I want Freeney to sit. They sat. Now you want credit for beating them? Can't have it.